Whether you're a seller looking to hire their first or their next VA, or a VA who's looking for their first or next client, you're going to love the Hiring a VA Summit happening May 19th to the 22nd. Everything that weekend is absolutely free, and there are even some bonus live events the weekend before. You can get all of that information in the episode description, or if you have any questions about getting involved, you can send me a DM on Instagram over at Brittany Berlinich. Hello and welcome to the Social Media Magic Podcast, the perfect podcast for TPT sellers, teacherpreneurs, and teacher business owners who consider themselves to be introverts. Each episode shares all kinds of ideas, tips, tactics, and strategies to help you make more sales and grow your community on social media. Without further ado, let's get on to today's episode. Looking to hire a VA? I have the perfect resource for you. In the episode description, you can find my Hiring a VA Survival Guide. It has all kinds of resources and tools, everything you need, including step-by-step blog post walkthroughs, videos, tutorials, and specific podcast episodes from the Social Media Magic Podcast to help you hire your first or your next VA. You can find all that information in the episode description or in the show notes. Hello and welcome back to the Social Media Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Brittany Berlinich. I'm a content strategist, social media manager, total marketing nerd, and I am so glad you are here. We are in the middle of a series about helping you hire a VA, or just about hiring VAs, virtual assistants in general. In the last couple of episodes, I really covered the basics about what a virtual assistant is, the different kinds of virtual assistants there are, and I think those would be great for you to listen to if you are brand new. I also have a blog post that really covers what is outsourcing in business. Like, what are we talking about? If you're brand new to business and you're like, oh my gosh, we're hiring people? Do I need to hire people? That's another great place to start. The blog post is totally free, and you can find that link in the episode description. I also want to make sure you know about the mini audio-only summit happening May 19th to 22nd. It's totally free to attend that weekend, and if you know that you're going to need more time, you can upgrade to an all-access pass, but it's not required. Okay, let's get into the episode. What can a virtual assistant, or VA for short, do for my business? Well, they can do just about anything, which is pretty amazing. But when we're looking at a business or a company, because you are building a company, my friend, when we're looking at a company or a business, there are really 3 different departments. I know, departments, you're like, what? It's just me in my pajamas in my house. I know, but the more that we can start to think about our businesses as budding companies, almost like startups, the more that we start to get a bigger picture and a long-term vision for exactly what it is that we're creating. So the 3 departments are this. One is typically called growth, the other is called operations, and the third is called fulfillment. Now, these are just categories, or you could think of them as buckets. I'm going to go a little deeper now into what each of those looks like and the different types of VAs. And when I say VAs, I know VAs, freelancers hearing this are like, I'm not a VA. I get it. I feel you. But I'm using the term VA, virtual assistant, because that is what's known in the seller space. And just like how anyone is creating content for their audience, we always need to speak in language for you to hear. And I said that because I wanted the TPT sellers to also hear that if there are words that you're using with your audience that maybe aren't resonating, see if there's a different word, because I was using the word freelancer and it was going right over teacher sellers' heads. But when I use the word VA or virtual assistant, now they understand. So think about that with your own audience. Are you talking about something that's maybe super technical and it's not landing because you're using the wrong words? Is there a better word or phrase that you could be using that would land better? Just something to think about. Okay, back to the episode. What can a virtual assistant do for my business? So in those 3 departments, let's look at growth first. When we're looking at growth, this is our marketing and sales people. Honestly, this is probably the department that you want the most help with because you probably enjoy it the least, although operations will also give that a run for its money. This is where I am. This is where I live. The category for this podcast is marketing, right? I'm talking about social media strategy. I'm talking about content marketing, blogging, podcasting, YouTube, short form video, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook groups, email marketing, email in general, lead generation, summits, collaborative bundles, all this stuff that seems to take up so much time. And it is important because what's the use of having a business if nobody knows about us? You can even put SEO in this category because when you're creating your product listing on TPT is a funnel and you are using all of these marketing tactics and sales strategy, copywriting to create a resource that ranks high for a certain keyword and hopefully is set up and optimized well so that when someone goes and sees your results, sees your resource in the search results, they click on it, they read it, and then they decide to buy. There's all these different micro decisions that happen in marketing and sales. And it's important because without sales, we don't have businesses, right? So we need to make sure that we have the right people in the right roles for our marketing and sales department. Now, here's the part that's kind of scary. If you don't have anybody hired on right now for this role, guess who's in marketing and sales? It's you. You are the head of marketing and sales, which I know I have people probably going, this is like my hell. I don't want to do that. I totally understand. And my hope that this podcast can make that more enjoyable and easier for you, even if you never work with me, even if you're never a client of mine. But you're going to get to a point where it's probably going to feel a little bit overwhelming. So if you need to hire somebody to help you with marketing and sales, here are some examples of different positions or roles. You might want to hire someone to focus on your email marketing or even just to write your emails for you. They don't have to be going into your ConvertKit account. They don't have to be planning out these crazy long abandoned cart sequences. You're probably not ready for that stuff yet anyway. And also the benefit of you selling on a marketplace like Teachers Pay Teachers, like Classful, like Etsy, like Amazon is, they likely have some of that going on in the back end anyway. Now, exception to this, for my sellers who are selling on their own sites, you might want to have those things in place. An abandoned cart sequence, by the way, just means if they add your resource to the cart and then they get distracted and they go away, they click that out the window and they don't buy it, they get some kind of email saying, hey, we noticed that you wanted to buy this thing, but you didn't buy this thing. Do you still want to buy this thing? You've probably gotten those before too. So you can see how granular and specialized all these different things get. Like within marketing, there's social media marketing, there's long form content marketing, there's content strategy, there's networking. I mean, there's all these different little mini categories that go under marketing and sales. And so you'll have to think about what is the biggest bang for my buck? What do I actually want to do with my time? And maybe what is something that I know I need to do or they should be doing, but I can't do it or I don't want to do it? That would be a really good thing to hire a virtual assistant for. So for example, if you want to grow your email list with social media, shameless plug, because this is my podcast, hire me. And we do so much more than that now too. I mean, we're starting to help people with Pinterest. I am not a Pinterest expert, but I have an amazing girl on Pinterest for myself, and she's managing my own TPT store. And I asked her, hey, do you want some more work? And she's like, yeah. So I have a great girl for you if you want a referral. If you're not enjoying marketing and sales right now, or if you're not getting the result that you really like, consider hiring either a generalist virtual assistant, which my last episode went a little more into like generalist versus specialist VAs, if you want to go listen to that one. If you know that you're going to need help with marketing and sales, you might want to hire a marketing virtual assistant. And you might need to train this person. Maybe you can give them access to a course that you have. By the way, I didn't mention this in the last episode. I totally should have. Please, 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 don't just give VAs access to your courses without checking with the course creator. For me, that is fine. I don't mind if you buy a course for me and then send your VA your login, whatever. Even let me know and I'll give them a login. But not everybody is like that. Some people only give you one license or one seat and they do not want you sharing. So please check with the course creator. We want to be respectful of that. Just like how we don't want someone getting our TPT resource, downloading it, and then giving it to 5 friends, right? It's kind of the same thing. So just be aware and respectful with that. Okay, so marketing and sales, social media, podcast editing, YouTube editing, listing videos on YouTube, listing videos on TikToks, things like that. If you hire a specialist VA for any of these things, it's either going to be a strategist. Maybe that strategist only works with you for a little bit of time saying, here's what you need to do, step A, step B, step C. You need to hire someone to execute on that, okay? Or you might just hire someone to actually execute on the thing until you can hire a strategist, whatever it is. But I do recommend if you're going to hire a specialist VA, make sure that you know what the strategy is or that you have something to give you a strategy, because you're going to set yourself and that other person up to fail if they don't know what they're supposed to be doing and how to do it. And in that case, it might just be better to hire a generalist VA if you're not sure and you want them to try different things for you. One more thing about hiring a VA for marketing and sales. This might be kind of hard to swallow, but do not put your financial success on the VA. That is way too much stress and pressure for them. You're hiring them to do a specific task or job, so make sure that you're only assessing them and building your work relationship with that person based off the job that you're giving them. I've been on both ends of that. When I was first new to hiring as a business owner, I don't know why. I paid this person like 25 bucks an hour. She better make magic for me. I don't know why I thought that, but that's what I thought. And I realized later, like, wow, well, that was really dumb. But I just didn't know any better. So I'm just telling you now, lesson learned. I've also been on the receiving end of that, where I had someone who I was just writing a few blog posts for them. The energy I got from them was just saying, like, why isn't this working? And part of that is just them not knowing how blogs worked. It's like it was a couple months went by and they're like, why isn't it working? I'm like, well, it takes a couple months to index by Google, even though we went into Google Search Console or things you can do. So you start to see, like, make sure that you are watching yourself. And this is more just for your sanity, honestly. Make sure you're not putting it all on the person that you're hiring. Okay, let's move on to the next department of your business, which is one you might actually hate more than marketing and sales. And that is operations. Oh my gosh, this is the stuff I cannot stand. I can't do it. I want to be a person who loves it, but I can't. So this is the stuff we're talking about: bookkeeping, taxes, legal, LLC formation, making sure that you're getting all of your ducks in a row with your finances. This is the stuff that honestly, it's not my main wheelhouse. I look for amazing people like OBMs, an online business manager, to help with this. I look for specific freelancers who are organized. I'm going to have Adrienne Farrell on the show soon, or maybe she's already been on. I honestly can't remember the schedule. That's one thing actually that happens when you hire VAs is they take over stuff for you and you don't know what's happening in your own business anymore. So I don't know which one's coming out when, but Adrienne Farrell is like a Google productivity queen. She's going to be talking all about that. So I would say what she does a lot falls under operations. Another thing that falls under operations is just kind of keeping the trains running, so to speak. So making sure that you know where you're supposed to be and when, which doesn't sound like such a big deal with an online business. But if you're committing to be interviewed on podcasts, are you going to remember to go to them? That's where systems and things like Calendly and Google Calendar, all those different kinds of tools work together. Making sure that you pay your VAs, making sure that you're paying for the tools and subscriptions that you need to be able to do the work that you need to do. This could be purchasing clip art, right? And budgeting for that, things like that. Finances, bookkeeping, legal, taxes. Those are the big ones. But it can also be kind of tangential to marketing and sales, like email sequences and things like that, like doing the tech part, the integrations. While that's kind of related to marketing, it's kind of related to operations as well, because it's making sure that the marketing and sales people can do their job. Because again, we're zooming out and we're looking at this as a whole business and company. Okay, let's talk about fulfillment. This is probably your favorite department. This is product creation, a little bit of customer service, which you might or might not like as much. Honestly, customer service is kind of melding with sales and marketing now. A lot of people are actually choosing, this is a social media trend, by the way, that you should be aware of. People are choosing to directly contact brands on social media more and more. So they're reaching out to brands on Twitter now versus going to their customer service page. They're not calling customer service lines, usually because customer service is so bad and slow anyway. They figure, like, I might as well just go to them on Twitter or DM them on Instagram. So this is something you want to think about. If you're not ready to hire a social media manager yet, or if you don't have any social media manager presence, do you have a way to manage your customer relationships? Do you have a way to contact them, or do they have a way to contact you? Is that clear? Now, on marketplaces like TPT, I feel like this is built in. Obviously, we have like seller product reviews, we have seller Q&A. They're testing out all these other weird features, and who knows in a year what we'll have. But this all falls under kind of in multiple departments, but under fulfillment in the sense of you're creating a thing, people are buying the thing, their access to the thing. Okay, so this might be creating a course or creating a membership. This could be recording content for the membership, creating a PDF or a workbook for your membership or for a resource. And even though sellers don't like typically to outsource this thing first, let's just think about this for a second. What is, and I want you to answer in your head, what is the one thing that if you could do more of, you'd make more money? You'd probably create more what? More resources, right? Maybe email marketing, maybe some of you said that too. But email marketing doesn't help if you don't have anything to sell, right? There's a reason that all these TPT coaches say you need to have products, create more products. At the end of the day, we need to have our shelves stocked, so to speak, because we're like an online shop. So that takes time. It takes a lot of time. So even though I know you love product creation, just take a second, dream with me for a minute here. If you have a product line and you've made the first 1, 2, or 3 products, you already have the template made, right? You already have an idea of the progression of the products in the suite, right? So could you hire a virtual assistant, either a generalist who's going to be doing lots of different things for you, or a specialist, maybe who specializes in that specific type of resource you're creating? Like maybe they specialize in science of reading. Maybe they specialize in creating decodable passages. See what I'm saying here? You see how there's all these different specialties? Maybe they specialize in quadratic equations. Maybe you're a secondary seller and you need someone who has that background. Whether you're hiring a specialist or a generalist VA, in the fulfillment department, they are actually creating the things for your customers to buy, or they're supporting that. This could mean that they're part of a community manager, maybe if you have a membership. If you have a course, they could be a success coach. Depending on the different offers that you have, they're one of the people who are actually delivering the product or the service. If you could get a VA to help you create twice as many products, and if creating and listing products is your highest income producing activity, why wouldn't we want to get more out there? Or gosh, even just listing. I know so many TPT sellers and creators who they actually love the product creation, but they don't love listing. They don't have any more energy when they get to the listing phase. And I get it because that also involves marketing and sales. So hire somebody for it, consider it. Or if you're like, no, Brittany, fulfillment is my jam. I love customer service. I love listing the products. I love creating the products. I would rather have someone else do all the operations. Blah, I hate taxes. Blah, I hate marketing and sales. Then hire those people. Those are generally the two schools of thought when it comes to hiring your first VA or your first few VAs is you either hire somebody for something you're really, really good at doing because you can easily and quickly create an SOP, a standard operating procedure for it, and then give that to them. And by the way, Erin Waters has this course called The Finishing Framework. It is really, really good. She has an affiliate link, which I haven't checked because I just thought of it when I was recording these episodes. If she does have it, I will have that linked in my episode description. You can go check it out. And if she doesn't have an affiliate link, I'll still include it because I still think it's good and you should check it out. If you want to work on this, if you want to work on creating SOPs and systems, she is your go-to gal for that for TPT. So what are you thinking? Do you need to hire someone for marketing and sales to take on your blogging, your podcast, your YouTube, your social media, maybe to manage your Facebook group? Do you need to hire a bookkeeper, someone to look at your finances? Even just hiring someone to do your taxes is technically outsourcing them because you could do them yourself or you could hire a specialist. That's probably something you don't want to hire a generalist VA for. Or will you hire a VA to do fulfillment? They could be a generalist VA that does multiple things across multiple departments, or they could just be someone to help you create or list more resources on TPT. Maybe they'll help you respond to those Q&As so you don't have to get those heart palpitations when you get that email about a buyer has asked a new question. I would genuinely love to know, are you going to be hiring a VA soon? Is this something you're looking into? Maybe you're listening because you want to be a VA. Whatever it is, I'd love to hear from you. You can send me a DM on Instagram over at Brittany for Lunch, or you can come chat with us in the Social Media Magic Facebook group, free on Facebook. If you skipped the beginning part, we're hosting a mini audio-only summit May 19th through 22nd, totally free that weekend, and we're even going to have some interview speed dating. So if you're a VA looking for work, or if you're a seller looking for a VA, come and get some matches made. It's going to be super fun. You're also just going to learn a ton about working with VAs, working as a VA, because I think it's super important for us to hear from both perspectives. And I'm really looking at an awesome, diverse group of people as far as the speakers for the summit. It's audio only, which means you can listen to it on the go. Even if you're busy that weekend, you can just keep it in your pocket with you. Okay, that's it for now. Talk soon.